Laura, where do we stand right now? How should the Mets play it when it comes to Cody Bellinger?
I honestly think they should stand pat with that. They should go for the higher AAV and then a shorter contract. It's worked for Daniel Stearns thus far, and I think one of the reasons that it's taking Bellinger so long is because he's actually intrigued by this prospect. You know, we're hearing the Blue Jays are not as much into Bellinger as they were previously, so now really it's down to Yankees and Mets. Which one does Bellinger want? Does he kind of like roll the dice a little bit, make as much money as he possibly can for a short period of time, or go for what that reported 5-year contract is with the Yankees? Either way, I don't think he's going to get the 7 years that he was looking for, but we saw it happen with Tucker. We saw it happen with Bo Bichette. These short-term deals, that's the way the baseball's trending.
Are you a big fan of the movie Home Alone?
I do. I like Home Alone.
Daniel Stearns instead of David Stearns. I think they're just...
It's not like I come to the Mets or anything.
Exactly right. No, it happens all the time.
A fine actor.
Hey, some Met fans wanted to give David Stearns the iron over the face there. Maybe not after Bichette here. All right, Ant, what do you think so far of the Bellinger thing?
Honestly, Sal, I'm in the free advice business here, and my free advice to Cody Bellinger is he should sign with the Yankees because that's better for his career. I think he is made to play in that stadium. There was a huge difference in his OPS last year, home and away, almost 200 points difference as well. And I'm intrigued by the lower strikeout percentage there at home. Does that, I mean, I can just extrapolate like a madman here and say that that indicates maybe he was very comfortable playing at Yankee Stadium. He obviously put up some really good numbers there. To me, that's a fair offer from the Yankees, and he fits there positionally. He fits there ballpark-wise. That lefty swing, having another year of playing in there, or a year of playing there will help teach him how to hit there even more. I just feel like the numbers, he'll put up big numbers there, and I'm not so sure he'll put up big numbers as a Met outfielder. And if the Mets are ponying up $50 million a year, and he hits 18 home runs next year, the Boo Birds will come.
No, I always thought you charged for advice.
Only you.
With me.
Only you.
So I get some money back at some point. Listen, I think the Yankees, I like what they're doing, but they're playing a dangerous game here. I feel like they need him. You know, they're sticking to their guns. They're not going to raise that offer. At least that's what they're putting out there. But, you know, if somebody does swoop in, like the Mets swooped in on Bichette and take him, you know, they're going to look bad for letting him get away, I think, because I think he's much bigger need for them than he is for the Mets. I mean, if the Mets steal him away, it turns into a home run of an off season for the Mets. So really fascinating to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I'm not saying I wouldn't want him from a Mets perspective, because obviously if they sign Bellinger, it's like, okay, he's going to make the team better, or it makes it easier to make them seem a little bit better. Can play some center, first, obviously left, whatever's needed. I don't think he's worth the investment.
Well, I mean, Ben, what is the
Well, okay, but think about it. So it has to be more than the $30 million a year that the Yankees are giving. So if I'm Bellinger, it's got to be at least, you're talking high 30s, maybe 40.
Well, you're paying Bichette $42 million a year.
I understand that, but I think he's a better player than Bellinger. I don't know
about players. He's a better hitter.
High AAV to me would be for the star players, the premier players. I think Bellinger's a solid player, and it'd be a nice addition. I'm not extending the way that I would have from the Mets for Kyle Tucker, or even what they did for Bichette. And again, if they did get him, I'm not going to say, oh, it's a horrible move. I think the Yankees need him more. I think the Yankees maxed out at their offer, and that's the right thing to do here. If I'm the Mets, I would rather go for pitching. And obviously, there's still plenty of rumors tying the Mets to both Freddy Peralta and Framber Valdez. What should their next pitching move be, Laura?
I mean, I was actually interested in one of the Will Salmon reports saying that they were interested in Kris Bubic. I mean, is it a long shot? Absolutely. But here you're looking at a guy who's entering free agency, so obviously next year, so Kansas City is going to want to move him. He has a really high ground ball rate. Yeah, he's a little bit of a soft tosser, but he can still strike out players. Left-hander, and last year, you know, we kind of saw him become that sort of frontline starter. This guy could be a game changer. Will it be a little bit expensive? Yes, but the Mets do have the farm system to pay for a guy like this. So is it going to be difficult? It's probably going to be somewhere along the lines of what maybe the Nationals are looking for with Mackenzie Gore. But I think that could be a move that could interest David Stearns.
Well, Laura,
well done, yeah.
To your point, I mean, the 1 year, him going for a free agent contract is probably appealing to Stearns because low commitment seems to be the buzzword here. What if you could get Framber Valdez on a 3-year commitment, though? That's, to me, where that they should go.
Right.
I've been saying it all year, all offseason harp. I know you have, too. We finally agree. But this guy is an innings eater, gets an extreme ground ball pitcher. So if we're believing in run prevention and the strong up the middle defense. I mean, if Framber Valdez is getting a lot of 2 hoppers to short, 2 hoppers to second base, Met infielders are eating that up, and he's pitching deep into games. I mean, and that to me was their #1 flaw last year. It destroyed the rotation, it destroyed the bullpen going forward, and it destroyed the Mets season. Get a Lion in there to me and put him at the top of that rotation.
Yeah, I was on Suarez, though, more than Valdez.
Well, that's true.
But even so, at this point, Valdez, either him or you trade for Peralta. I think there's one or the other. I want a little bit more of a sure thing than Bubic, however you pronounce it. And I do feel like Peralta is even a better bet on a 1-year deal, but how much you're going to have to give up for 1 year of Peralta. Look, Valdez is a proven pro, and he's a proven top-of-the-rotation guy. As long as he's not trying to kill his own catcher, you're in good shape. So
well, there are questions, and that's fair.
I don't like that.
I think he'd be okay. I mean, I do think at this point, if you get him on a 3-year deal, I think that's really a great move.
All right, so that's kind of my point, right? Back to before, circling back to the Bellinger thing. If you could just pick one, and the Mets, like everybody likes to say King Cohen, and we joke around about it, you got to be somewhat realistic.
Can't buy every player.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't buy every player.
So now I want 2 starting pitchers. Probably realistically, maybe they add 1 higher-end guy, hopefully Peralta. But let's say it's either Valdez or Bellinger that you're going to get on a short-term AAV or short-term deal, higher AAV. Which one would you rather do if you're the Mets?
I mean, personally, just in terms of skill set, I prefer Valdez. I think they do need that. That being said, going back to Harb's point, that thing with the catcher with Framber Valdez really bugged me. And I mean, when you're talking about a player, how he's going to fit in New York, and also when we talk about the Mets, a team that maybe had a little bit of problem with chemistry last year and kind of like cohesion, how does he fit into that? And does he make it a better environment? And that is not what I do not know.